Hey guys, Tate from Florida here, and still out here at the Fort King National Landmark in Ocala, and I'm at one of the markers along the interpretive path or trail that goes around the property, and it says, following the demise of the Ocala, bands of Yamasee and Creek Indians settled in the area. They were referred to by the Spanish as Cimarrons or runaways. They would later become known as the Seminoles. In the mid-1700s was a time of peace in Florida. Seminoles bartered with the Spanish, trading deerskin, furs, dried fish, beeswax, and honey for coffee, sugar, liquor, and tobacco. By the time William Bartram, visited the Seminoles in 1774 at Cuscowilla, now Micanopy, they had become cattle ranchers, managing vast herds of cattle. By late 1835, all the pieces were in place. Interior Florida was a powder keg just waiting for the spark. The land of flowers was about to be painted red and blood. This trail is about a 1-mile trail surrounding the main fort monument marker. And Florida became U.S. territory in 1821. Blacks had been escaping slavery into Florida for over 130 years. They first lived as allies with the Spanish and later as allies, friends, and partners with the Seminoles. By 1830, Florida had become both a slave-based cotton and cane economy and a refuge for escaped slaves living with the Seminoles. Southern whites became increasingly angry over the loss of what they considered property, their slaves, and as the Seminoles armed the blacks, the Southern whites became increasingly fearful of slave insurrection. By 1835, blacks were ready to fight and die with the Seminoles. If war broke out, blacks knew they could expect no mercy from the whites if they were captured. Very interesting. After acquiring Florida in 1821, the U.S. government decided to confine the Seminoles to an Indian reservation. The first step was to enter into a treaty with the Seminoles whereby they agreed to move onto a reservation. This was accomplished on September 18th of 1823 at a meeting on Moultrie Creek, south of St. Augustine. Terms of the treaty included an establishment of a 4 million acre reservation in interior Florida, extending from what is now Ocala south to Lake Okeechobee and inland about 20 miles from each coast. The government would protect the Seminoles from trespassers, provide them with livestock, construct a school and blacksmith shop, and provide an Indian agent to represent their interests. The Seminoles in turn would stay within the reservation boundaries and help capture and return blacks to slavery. The treaty would last 20 years to 1843. So the spot I'm at right now, we've gone down about 50 feet from the last marker, and this is the Fort King Creek. And there are sandhill ridges east and west, and a small creek meanders north and west through fern-covered banks shaded by giant trees. The creek originates at the Seep Spring ahead of you. You've entered a rare and special place, a remnant piece of primeval bottomland forest once common around Ocala, but now very rare.
Time 10 minutes.
So look
Distance
in front of me here
0.25
is the
miles.
creek.
Average pace 39
Apologize for
minutes,
my
17 seconds per mile.
app telling me how long I've walked through here. There's not much left of this creek